What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I am making a roasted chicken power bowl inspired by one of my favorites at a place called Beet NYC. It's made up of several different components, so it's a couple different recipes in one that all makes up one really good bowl. So this bowl is made up of several different components, but it does make about 3 to 4 servings depending on how much chicken you make or eat at a time, as well as it stores really well in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days. The only thing is with the Brussels slaw, probably not to dress it all at once, just dress what you need at that time, and then the rest can store in the fridge without any problem. So definitely give it a try. All these recipes taste great by themselves. You can also pair them with a lot of different other dishes, but definitely try it all together first and let me know what you think, and let's get into the kitchen.
We're going to start off by making the pickled red onions by slicing off the top of the onion and then peeling off the outside layer and skin. Then, using a mandolin or a knife, you're just going to cut it into really thin slices. And if you are using a mandolin, definitely be careful, especially as the onion gets smaller and the blade gets closer to your hand. You don't want to cut yourself. Once that's all sliced, I'm just going to separate the rings a little bit and then place that into a jar. Then in a separate cup or bowl, we're going to start with the pickling liquid. So we're going to add half a cup of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and then a cup of warm or hot water. Then stir that up a bit so the sugar and salt can dissolve, and then we're going to pour that over the onions. Then you just want to make sure that all the onions are completely submerged under the liquid, and then we're just going to close that up and store it in the fridge for at least an hour and a half before we use it. So next we're going to work on the roasted sunflower seeds, which are honestly so addicting. I made sure to make extra, so that's why this recipe, there's a larger quantity of it. But we're going to start with using 2 tablespoons of honey or maple syrup, mix in 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and then we're going to toss in a cup of sunflower seeds. Once you get the seeds all evenly coated in the syrup, we're then going to spread it out evenly onto a lined baking sheet and preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of cinnamon on top that I forgot to add in the beginning, but then we're going to roast it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, mixing it about halfway through. Once it's done baking after about 10 minutes in the oven, we're then going to add it back into the bowl and season it with some coconut sugar and sea salt to taste. I ended up using about 1/2 tablespoon of coconut sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once we're all done with that, we're then gonna set it aside and work on the roasted chicken. We're gonna start out by using either a meat mallet or you can use a heavy pan to pound out the chicken. That way it's all an even thickness. This will help with the cooking. That way one part of the chicken that's thinner isn't overcooked while the thicker part of the chicken isn't undercooked. So once we're all evened out with that, I'm then going to cut the breast in half and then start seasoning it. We're just gonna do a really simple seasoning mix of seasoning, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, and oregano. Season both sides of the chicken and then we're gonna place it in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes or until it's cooked through. Once that comes out the oven, we're going to let it rest for at least 5 minutes before we cut it into slices. You never want to cut into chicken or any other meat for that matter right away. You want to let it rest first, that way the juices can redistribute back into the meat to prevent it from drying out. We'll set that aside as well and then work on the avocado hummus. For this recipe, it's really simple. We're just gonna add to a food processor or blender a can of drained chickpeas, avocado, garlic, lime juice, cilantro, sesame oil, salt and pepper, as well as olive oil. Blend that together until it's nice and smooth, adjust it to your tasting, and that's it. Once you get that all nice and smooth and tasting the way you want it, we're gonna set that aside as well and work on our last element, which is the Brussels slaw. This recipe is also super simple and easy as well. It's only 4 ingredients. We're gonna start off by cutting some Brussels sprouts into thin slices, again using a mandolin to go quicker or just using a nice sharp knife. I'm gonna cut up about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of Brussels sprouts. Add in some dried cranberries as well as some Parmesan cheese. Then we're gonna finish this off with some dressing. So I use this Italian dressing. I wanted to find something that was a little bit lighter, not too strong of a flavor, since remember we're gonna mix all this together with all the previous elements in one big bowl. And now that we are done with that, we are finally ready to put this all together. So I'm going to use some mixed greens here as the base of my bowl. You can use whichever greens you prefer. Then start adding on all these delicious toppings, plus a little bit more dressing to finish it off, and you're ready to enjoy. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already and give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.